Welcome to Fear Free Friday. I do love my Fridays. There's a whole day dedicated to being fearless, to simply refusing to allow fear to get a toehold in my day. And in that regard, there's this great quote from Tony Robbins. Fear is a prison, he says, but courage is the key that unlocks the door. That's certainly been true in my life. There have been times that I've been afraid to do whatever, and yet when I grab onto my courage and simply forge ahead anyways, what I've learned every single time is the thing that I was afraid of wasn't real in the first place. So this is I want to play with the whole idea of courage today because it's just so important, especially on a Fear Free Friday. It's important every day, but for me, for whatever reason, somehow it's more important on a Fear Free Friday. I don't know. It just is. So welcome. If you've not been here before, welcome. My name is Christopher Diarmani, and it is my pleasure, it is my passion to empower aspiring Christian nonfiction authors to share their trauma to triumph journey using a personalized roadmap for writing success so they can write, finish, and publish their book, and then make the impact they know they were born to make through that. It's a great process. And today, as I said, I want to talk about courage. And here's the reality. To fear and doubt, it's human. For whatever reason, God made us this way, and we fear things, we doubt ourselves, even when we don't. We shouldn't. When we know that we're capable, we still fear, which is crazy. So what I would ask you today to do is simply to confront your fear and write your book anyways. That's it. Confront your fear and write your book anyways. End of video, moving on. Well, no, not quite, but you get my point, right? Just be courageous. Because feeling the fear and doing it anyways, that's the stuff legends are made of, truly. Humans are hardwired to value safety. It's one of our core human needs, and yet living in the comfort zone, that's the place that keeps us trapped and horrible. Like in ages past, the Sabre-Tooth Tiger was out there, and it made sense to be afraid of that. With one swipe of its paw or one rake of its massive teeth, we're done. It's worth being afraid of that. That's a real fear. Being ostracized in those same days, back in the caveman days. If you were ostracized from your tribe, oh my goodness, the odds of you surviving went to almost nothing. But we don't live in that world today. There are no saber-toothed tigers. Getting ostracized from a group of friends, so what? There's another group of friends out there, and getting ostracized from one group is not going to stop us from eating, from sleeping, from going to our job, doing the things that we need to do. Just means we've got to find a different place to do it, different tribe of people to do it with. That should be embraced, not be feared. So one of the troubles, of course, is though that our lizard brain didn't get the memo that we don't live in saber-toothed tiger days anymore. It still thinks that there's some great big existential threat out there that's going to destroy us any given moment. It's garbage. It's all lies, but it doesn't mean it's not out there. So if you're feeling a little bit of fear and trepidation and self-doubt about writing your very first book, well, that's to be expected. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just understand that none of those fears, none of those apprehensions about yourself are valid. They're not true. You have the ability, you have the skill, you have the time, you have the ability, so go do it. There's nobody on this planet that has the authority to tell you can't. That's the thing. Nobody can tell you that you can't do this. But sadly, too many of us do it to ourselves. Ford said, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. Our thoughts create our reality. That's just a simple fact. If I believe I can't write a book, then guess what? I'll never write a book. But if I believe that I can, nothing can stop me. So I would encourage you to believe that you can, so that nothing can stop you either. It's, in that respect, it is so darn simple. It really is. So while everything in the writing process might be new and unknown and a little bit scary because, in that place of unknown, when we're outside of our comfort zone, trying to figure out what to do and what to pay attention to and what's important, what's not, that requires a lot of energy to pay attention to all these moving parts. But it gets easier, because when you write your second book, you'll have gone through this process once and you'll know what to expect around most of the corners. There will always be new corners. I mean, I'm on my 50th, 51st, 53rd, I don't remember. Somewhere over 50 the number of books that I've written and published so far. I'm on the next one, and there's still things that I'm learning, still new ways of doing it better, doing it faster, doing it easier, doing it in a way that resonates deeper with my intended audience. There's always, Barry Baumgartner says this really well. New level, new devil. There's always something new to learn, some new challenge to face. Doesn't matter how successful we get. There's always something new that we have to figure out. But that unknown stuff, that's what our lizard brain tries to keep us safe from, and that's craziness. Truly is. So let me ask you this. Are you afraid of what someone might say about your book once it's done? Because if you are, I would highly encourage you to do what the professional writers do. Just ignore the critics. They don't know what they're talking about anyway. They really don't. And let me go back to that for a moment. And on the rare case someone actually does know what they're talking about, use that as a learning opportunity. If you made a mistake and they're right about it, well, then fix it. Problem solved, moving right along, right? Are you afraid that someone might reject your book and thereby reject you? That's possible. But I would ask you to focus on something different. I would ask you to focus on the reader who raves about you, raves about your book, talks about how it saved their life, and how they're so grateful that you wrote it. Focus on that. Live in the joy and the gratitude of that. Not about some jerk who doesn't know what they're talking about and says you wrote crap. They have no idea. You weren't their audience. For them it was crap. Maybe it is true. Maybe in their case it is true, but for them, not for you. So that's a really important thing to understand. It may be true for them, but it is not true for you. And it's certainly not true for the people who look at your book as their survival manual for the crap they're going through right now. Because that's what you're writing. So focus on those people and smile. Embrace the journey, knowing that you are writing the survival manual for the person who is you 5 years, 2 years, 10 years ago. You're writing the survival manual for that person, and they will be forever grateful. These are the conscious mindset shifts that we have to make, that every writer must make, no matter how far along the journey, how many books you write, doesn't matter. There's still new things to figure out, as I said earlier. And when fear creeps in, as it inevitably will, just slam the door in its face. Just don't let it get a toehold. Confront it with your courage, write fearlessly, write boldly, express your thoughts with passion, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't do this, because they don't know what they're talking about. They literally don't know what they're talking about. So sure, be open to constructive criticism, because it is possible that there is something that you could do better. That's always possible. So accept that criticism with humility and with grace, and then go and fix whatever the thing was that needs to be fixed. Put out a second edition of your book. People do it all the time. So courageously rewrite, move on. The cornerstone is courage, always courage. When in doubt, turn to my favorite passage on courage, Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Let me get me out of the way here. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid, nor be dismayed. For the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. That last segment for me is the cornerstone. For my God is with me wherever I go. So there's nothing to fear. There really isn't. With God standing behind you, how can you possibly fail? With God standing behind you, who can possibly stop you? Nobody. So embrace that. Do that. And hopefully that's left you feeling inspired and motivated, and wanting to just get back to your computer or back to your dictation device or back to your pad of paper, whatever way you're writing your book. I hope that's got you inspired to go back to whatever that tool happens to be and write for another 3 hours today and see what magic comes out. I think it'll be amazing. I can't wait to hear from you that, oh my goodness, Christopher, guess what? My book is out. Go read it. You're going to love it. And I will. I'll both read it and I'll love it. So that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I would love for you to connect with me on social media. Go to writingcoach.pro/Christopher. I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn, Facebook, all the rest of it. All of that is at that URL on your screen, and you can also find a couple of useful tools that will help you on your writing journey. And until tomorrow, courage is the key that unlocks the door every single day. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.